Welcome back to the Magnet Minute, brought to you by Magnet Labs. My name is Amy and I'm your host. This week on the Magnet Minute, we're talking about how important it is for you to have a content calendar as you start to share value with your online audience. This does a few things for you. It sets up a schedule, which is most important. So let's talk about that. Your audience needs to know what's coming. You need to let them know you're there for them. Part of that is letting them know they can depend on you. So that just might mean you're letting people know, hey, I write a new blog post every Monday. I make a new video every Thursday. By setting that schedule, it's not only letting them know when they can expect things, it's holding you accountable as well. It doesn't matter what this schedule looks like for you. You may not be able to make 2 pieces of content per week. You may only be able to do 1. Maybe you want to do 1 every single day. You have to do what's feasible for you. You want to try not to get to a point where you have to scale back, but always scale forward, and let those people know that this is the schedule or this is how things are changing, staying completely transparent in what that's going to look like. Maybe you don't like the idea of having a schedule at all. Maybe you just want to say, hey, I'm going to write on this platform like LinkedIn or Medium one day, and maybe one day I'll write on my blog, maybe I'll hop on YouTube one day, and that's okay too. The unexpected can sometimes be a schedule for your audience to follow along for. But then the calendar is playing a role in a different way, which it is playing this role all the way around, but what are your goals week after week, month after month? What are the things that you're trying to accomplish with all these pieces of content, and how are you measuring that? The actual play-by-play of when you post content is less important than becoming that dependable source. And when you are dependable, what are you getting out of that? What is the value that you get back after you've given the opportunity to give? Where most brands have the problem though is not necessarily what the calendar is going to look like and what they would like to get out of it. Usually you have a pretty clear indication of what you want that to be. It's more about having a blank slate and not knowing what to write about or talk about. This is where content structure comes into play very nicely with a calendar. Being able to not just look at a blank blog post, but actually have some ideas in the kitty or at least a theme to stick with is so helpful when you're having to sit down and spend the time that you've allocated to execute. Maybe 1 week a month you're really featuring behind the scenes action of what's happening with your brand. Maybe another week per month you're directly talking to people who have asked you questions. Are you getting tweets with questions? Are you getting emails? How can you give a little bit of attention to those people by also using that to create content? Having these themes is really going to help you bring down in your mind all the topics you could possibly attack, stay very, very specialized, and also stay within the context of what you would like to execute week after week, month after month. Start with the big dates on the calendar. Obviously, there's a big chunk of time at the end of the year when we're talking about holidays. Maybe the month of March or April, you're talking about something to do with tax season. It depends on your industry, but there are big pieces of the calendar year that can help you start to create those themes, and then you can fill in the blanks everywhere else, which will then help you create the actual individual blog posts, videos, whatever it is from there. If you want someone to tell you how often to post, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be different for everyone, but as long as you are consistent and you are not just ramping up your blog and then all of a sudden it's not working after a month, so you walk away, you have to realize it takes a lot of time to build relationships online. That's what you're doing by providing value and becoming a trusted source. Stick with that schedule, scale up when it's appropriate, try not to scale back. You don't want to ruin the expectations your audience have of you. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday. I make a new Magnet Minute here on the Magnet Media Films channel, so subscribe here. I definitely would love to see you on the next one. Tweet with me at Schmatastic and at Magnet Media Inc. If you have questions, we'll also be in the comments. I'll see you on the next Magnet Minute.
For more great tips and resources, make sure you sign up for the weekly newsletter. It's in the Resource Center at magnetmediafilms.com/subscribe.